Good evening, CineNerds. Welcome to another Thursday. I'm Ryan,
I'm JP Cross.
and we got a lovely film choice that we're reviewing this evening for you guys. It is GP
Ready or not, two.
2.
Here I
So,
come.
here I come. And so, that said, this is a relatively newer movie, and as always, we're just telling you guys now, if you haven't seen it and you're somebody who gets pissed off at spoilers, probably want to turn this off and come back and listen once you've seen it, because we're going to dig in.
Yeah, and before we start there, that CineNerdsPodcast.com. Follow our socials on
.com.
there. Follow our socials on there. Uh, Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Follow our TikToks, our Facebooks, our Instagrams, and all of our episodes are on there. Our backlogs, you can go and find 120 plus episodes. Um, I think this should probably, I'm not sure where we're at now, but I think where I uploaded this past week before we recorded these was episode 121. So we're well into the 120s. So there's 120 plus episodes on there that you can backlog and go back and listen to and binge, And so they're out there. Write a review, follow us, send invites. Anything else, Ryan?
You covered it, man. We got a merch store. Did you talk about the merch store?
I did not.
The merch store is pretty amazing. And we've got t-shirts, hoodies, we got pants on there. We've got koozies. We've got all sorts of fun on there. So go check it out. Oh, wait. We have coffee mugs as well. Most importantly, we have coffee mugs. So that's all.
All righty. So I watched this film, and this is going to come out a couple weeks after we record this, but I watched this film like a week and a half ago now, and you just watched this last night, correct?
Hold on, don't be modest. So this came out. First of all, this when a movie releases the weekend ahead is when it's coming out, and you're going to go see it on the weekend. But if you're somebody who goes on Thursdays to movies when they first drop, you're a diehard. And JP, he was not only was he first to see this on a Thursday, he was there. What 1 o'clock? You went to like the daytime showing.
2 o'clock.
So I mean, he was ready for this or not.
I was ready. I mean, I put this was in our most anticipated films of 2026. I think this was like my number 2, number 3. It was well up there. Like everybody who knows me knows I was such a big fan of the first Ready or Not film, and so this film coming, I was psyched. I was excited. So yeah, I was there at 2 o'clock on a Thursday to watch this film.
I don't remember when we reviewed the first one if I had seen it prior to us reviewing it. I just remember your love for this movie, and when I watched it, I think maybe it was a rewatch when I saw it, but because we were reviewing it. But I remember the attention to detail. I remember the way that this movie was delivered, and I was so impressed with it. And so I understood quickly why you loved it so much because it's just
Hmm.
really a really good movie.
Yeah, and it's a JP movie.
No,
On
this one isn't just a JP one.
well, the original.
Because, well, yeah, I can't even say that because the original is good, and JP movie's Queer Wolf.
But
So
no. JP movie has is fun. It can go off the rails. It can be gory. It can be silly. It can be serious. And you know what? The first Ready or Not did all the above.
it did. But your approach, you're like, listen, damn it, I have good picks, okay? JP, you have excellent taste in movies. They're a little quirky sometimes. And I will say this, our recent and upcoming guest host Tiff, she agreed. She watched Career Wolf just to see what we were talking about, and she did agree. But I
Oh
digress.
no, we're going when we film with her. We're going to stop because we're going to film 2 episodes with her here in a couple days, and not sure what sequence these are going to. This I'll probably put this one out before those episodes, just because this is a newer film. Won't get Ready or Not 2 out there, but we're going to film a couple episodes with her, and during that time, we're going to take 5 to 10 minutes, and we're going to film a 5 to 10 minute episode special of her doing her review of Curse of the Queer Wolf. Is my intentions to do.
I I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm gonna make this prediction right now because we're already she won't see this till we film, so, or till it airs. So I'm gonna make the prediction. Her face is gonna be. You're gonna go. So what'd you think, Tiff? And she's gonna go. So I don't know if I captured her face, but I can just see the like disdain on her face because I know it was mine.
It'll be kind of like that still frame you took over.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh. Let me. I gotta pull that up. I gotta pull that up and send that to you because that would be excellent to throw on the screen right when she gives her reaction. She'd kill me, but that'd be awesome.
Oh, so initial impressions.
What kind of Temple of Doom in this moment bullshit did I just watch was my initial impression. But it's misleading when I say that because I did not think wrongly of this movie in any way, shape, or form. But that I'll just leave it there, and as we dig in, you'll understand why.
As we get to the end, yeah. Well, we get to our final review, yeah. So, yeah, my initial impression. Obviously, I went to the theater first, day one at 2 o'clock in the afternoon to watch this film, and I walked out of the theater. I had a good time. That's kind of where I'll leave that. I had a good time, and my worries after watching some of the trailers with this film, I think, came to fruition, and but it didn't change my opinion of did I like this movie because I did really enjoy this movie.
I will say this, and this I think as we break into this a little bit more and get into the granular aspects, I thoroughly enjoyed part one far more than this one. But this one is not bad, so please don't misunderstand that. This movie is a solid movie, but one is far superior,
And
in
you
my
know what?
opinion.
I have seen so many people talking about this movie over the past week, and I've seen some reviews, and I have seen so many people say how they like this film so much more than the first one.
I just can't.
I actually agree with you, Ryan. This did not
You say
recapture
that like
the.
it's a surprise, motherfucker. Like I actually agree with you this time, right?
Yeah, but I agree that this film is not as good as the original. But there's been a lot of people reviewing saying it is, and if they think it is, and they had a great time, awesome, fantastic. I didn't I didn't get it. I didn't get that. Now, did change the fact that did I have fun with this movie? I had a blast watching this movie. So me saying that, not saying that it's bad, just saying it's just that original. I had a lot of love for it, and I had a high expectation to meet for me, and it didn't meet that high of an expectation that the original did.
Yeah, no, I felt what's the words I want here? With the first one, it felt less forced and it flowed very naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one felt a little more forced and they were trying to make things happen to fit the narrative of the story they were telling. So and it spiraled hard. It went off the rails in a weird way. To the point of almost for me, and everyone's got their likes and dislikes, but for me, there's certain elements that were just uncomfortable. So, but let's dig in. Let's start getting into this.
So it's funny you say that because I was reading some insights on this film, and one of the things about this film, you talk about how it just feels something feels off in it. You know,
Yep.
um, the writers and directors of this film had been writing this story as a sister film, and when they took this story to the studio, Spotlight Pictures or whatever studio it is, um, basically, I think they was kind of, from what I was understanding, it seemed like they were kind of unsure on if they wanted to do the film with the story they had, and then the writers director said, "Well, how about we take this story and turn it into the new Ready or Not?" And so they combined the story that they had written and turned it into a Ready or Not sequel.
So I heard this a little differently. So let me know if I'm wrong, but I thought it was the original intention of the first movie was supposed to have the sister element, and they pulled it, and then they added it to this once they basically there was an after credit that was cut from the film, if I heard right in the first one,
There
and that
was, but not with that. That was there was never a sister. Actually,
well,
in the first film, she had no immediate family. They actually had to rewrite this backstory. That's why they talked about so much of the backstory of the sisters in part two, because she had no other family. She even stated in that film she had no other family.
no, 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 what I'm saying is that the original way they wrote this was to be a sister, and they took the sister dynamic out and brought it back for the sequel was what I heard. So that's where I was confused, but like I said, I might be wrong there.
Yeah, I don't. That don't sound right to me. At least how you're wording it to me. But yeah, no. Regardless, the original story for the sisters was not supposed to be in the Ready or Not film, and they basically did it to do the story that they had written and turn it into a Ready or Not sequel. So, and that's to me, that's probably why this film feels a bit off compared to Ready or Not.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, yeah. Just confirming you're right. 'Cause
So yeah,
I wanted to see where all of it tied in. But yeah, so, like, and that the scene at the end that they cut it out because they wanted to use that for the premise of part 2, right?
yeah, the scene that cut out, I think, was actually supposed to be like people, like these high table people.
It was the council, these people that
Yeah.
were sitting around, they were talking about taking out the family she had just married into,
Mm-hmm.
and so they
Yep.
removed that, yeah,
Yeah.
so this movie, Ready or Not 2, literally picks up right off of where the other movie ended. There's like no time to even breathe. She's in the hospital. You've got there's an agent or a detective who's investigating, and by the way, he's seeing everything. She has just committed these murders because there's no way to justify how these people exploded. There's no way to explain what set the place on fire. She can say all the things she wants, but all the powers that be, which are these evil entities and families, are making sure this looks like it was her.
Mhm.
And events start unfolding almost immediately when we get introduced to, and they didn't have anyone else besides Catherine Newton casted to play Faith. She was the intended person. They wrote
Mm-hmm.
this for her apparently, and so she pops into the hospital room, and Samara Weaving looks at her and goes, Grace goes, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And she's like, "Well, I'm still your emergency contact, asshole," essentially. So
Yeah.
they kind of already start fighting, and you see there's this sibling dynamic where they're just pissed and bitter at each other. And I talk about this and go into this before we start really digging into the movie because to me, I was blown away at these two's chemistry on screen as siblings. They crushed it. I thought
Mm-hmm.
that they were great. Their screaming matches with each other, the way they were going back and forth, not throwing each other off, keeping their sentences straight while they're screaming at each other. It was layered perfectly. I enjoyed it. It was great.
Yeah. No, they were great together, and I mean the cast in this film. The cast in this film is great. I mean, Samara Weaving, Catherine Newton, you just mentioned. I mean, their chemistry was great. And if you don't know who Catherine Newton is, I mean, Lisa Frankenstein. She was in Freaky, which we talked about. Um, uh, Christopher Landon, who directed Freaky and the Happy Death Day movies, you know, in a previous episode recently. She's kind of become a little bit of a horror icon herself, so it makes sense that that was who they wanted, you know, for this film. Elijah Wood as the lawyer, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Sean Hot, I can never say his name right. The brother
Oh, the
character.
other Danforth. Yeah.
Yeah, he played in like The Faculty and Southland and a lot of stuff like that. David Cronenberg. I mean, the cast in this is huge. There is a massive cast in this one.
Did you just left out who I was going to bitch about first? Kevin Durand.
I was getting to Kevin Durant because I
So
love Kevin Durant.
I want to what's the is it Mr. Belial? Is that what they call him? The devil's name?
Something like that.
It's Mr. Belial, I believe. And so she in the end of the first one, she sees him sitting in the chair and he nods at her essentially. So basically you won, you got away with it. You win this round is essentially what he says to her in those moments, at least the way I took it. So the rest of the family, the other families and the heads of the families, they all have the same agreement that the family she had just married into had. Now, the problem is that there are a lot of clauses and a lot of things that Mr. Belial has, but some of the things not even expanded upon. So there's a lot of gray area, but a lot of people don't know about it. Long story short, the families all say we need to get her here now. Let's get her here, start the game again, and whoever has the game gets the seat of power,
Hmm.
the head of the table essentially, which is it's chaired by Chester Danforth is the father, and that he plays the father of um, Sarah Michelle Gellar's character, and then Chester Danforth, which is the guy you were talking about from the faculty. And so, but there's rules to this where the game has to begin, and if they touch anyone beforehand, they'll explode just like at the end of the first one.
Hmm.
So Kevin Durand, if you don't know him, he was in Abigail. He's been in what was the TV show? He's in the vampires,
The
the Strain,
strain. The
the
strain.
Strain.
He played
He's
the
been
blob. He played the blob in Wolverine.
yeah, I mean he's been in a bunch of stuff. To me, I felt like he was so underutilized in this movie. It was horrible because he went right for her. He wanted this. He thought he'd get the seat at the table. He wasn't paying attention to the rules. Tries to attack her in the hospital and he just blows up. And
Hmm.
this poor girl's covered in fucking blood again,
Again.
again.
And this movie has a lot of blood,
Oh my god.
just
So
like the just like
did you
these directors do. That in between Abigail, Ready or Not, and no different. Ready or Not 2, blood and blood and blood.
do you know how many gallons of blood were used on set?
I saw, but I can't remember right now.
325 gallons of fake blood. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
And like they had a bunch of like blood cannons and shit. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
that
no,
all
but
track. That all tracks.
yeah, yeah. But Kevin Durand, he was just underutilized, I felt, because I feel like he's a good character. He's a solid actor. He kind of, I feel like he should have had a bigger part. That's all.
I think I would have loved to. Yeah, he should have had a bigger role. Like, cause I love Kevin Durant. He's fun. He's always fun in everything you see him in. Like, he could have made the hunting ground in this so entertaining with how he is.
Yep. Could you imagine his intensity and just like laughing in his eyes, going all bug eyed, like when he's catching someone or fucking with them? Like he would have been far more interesting than some of the. I mean, I didn't mind the players that we got, but yeah, it was a little meh.
I mean, a couple of them were kind of, but then some of them were pretty fun, you know. But you know, obviously the siblings were the most fun, and the hunters with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Titus is his character. The Danforths, the twins.
Isn't he Chester Danforth?
No, that's the father. That was David Cronenberg. His name is Titus.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So they were great, and like he is intense, and he is just mean and intense in this film. You know, so like
Titus grows. He
yeah,
he doesn't start out that way. He
yeah.
becomes that way because he gets pushed too far. And to set the ball in motion for this, after Chester Danforth learned that that this girl had survived, he calls his children to him. And basically, Sarah Michelle Gellar and Titus, they smother him with a pillow, but he has one request before he's accepting it. He's telling him to do it. He puts the head of the table or the head of the council. He has the ring, and he puts it down. And he goes, "You make sure this stays in our family," and
Hmm.
puts it down. And they just smother him with a pillow, and that's that. And the whole premise of these siblings throughout the movie is make sure it mattered, make sure it meant something.
Yeah. And then that's the end of David Cronenberg, and you know that's probably his last film, I would assume.
Why do you say that? Is he sick
He's
in real life?
he's dead.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah,
No idea.
Cronenberg. Yeah, Cronenberg died last year.
Yeah, I don't. I didn't know that actor that well.
Oh, well, he's a really famous director,
Or
and
director.
Or didn't he die? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm looking at that right now. Maybe I am pulling a Ryan and I'm putting.
I mean, I wouldn't this because I don't know him well enough. I would know either way. So I I'm not holding it against you, JP.
Well, David Cronenberg is known for doing like he did the Fly remake. He did Crash. He's done.
He did the Goldblum fly.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
yeah. Like he's known for being like this. Just he does a lot of crazy fucking films. Like he did Videodrome, did Scanners, he did The Brood. Um, he was Zipperhead in Nightbreed. He acted in that. But I swear I thought David Cronenberg died this year, but according to,
But now I know who you're talking about though. That's awesome.
I've got to Google this now because it's not showing on his IMDb, but I swear he did. But maybe I'm wrong and I'm pulling a Ryan here. Um,
Hey, kick rocks. Okay.
no, he is still alive. I swear I thought he passed away, but okay. I am wrong, or maybe I'm having a Mandela effect.
Way to pull a JP there. Nice job.
You know what? You did it to John Carpenter.
I did. I so did. But let's be honest, John Carpenter. I mean, this guy's pretty legendary too from the breakdown you told me. But John Carpenter's a fucking legend. And no, he's not dead. But if he did die, he's just equally as important and a legend. So whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
I no.
Ma-
To be fair, I remember that very clearly, and I mixed him and Wes Craven up. So that was my bad.
And maybe I'm just thinking Cronenberg because David Lynch passed away, and maybe that's what I'm doing. But I was, yeah. So I'm wrong. Don't listen to me. So yeah,
If nothing else out of that whole conversation, my takeaway was I need to go rewatch Nightbreed because I haven't seen it in a long time, and I owe Nightbreed another watch.
yeah. Or go pick up, watch Videodrome. Videodrome's
Videodrome solid.
amazing. Um, so these girls, they end up getting these girls. They kidnap them, take them back to their compound, and they're telling them like, "Hey, the game's still on, and we need a new head of the table." You know,
I was
would you?
gonna say Samara Weaving in this scene where they have them sitting there and they're explaining everything to them, or should I say Elijah Wood is. It's I love her energy. Her energy is the same energy as when she was playing it in the first game,
Mm-hmm,
and she's so fucking over it. And she's like, "I won't play your fucking game." And they have to literally threaten her sister, which she's been estranged from for years. And she finally buckles because she still loves her sister. But
mm-hmm.
wow,
Yeah, and this, I mean, this is it turns into another hunting. Her and her sister are handcuffed. They go out. They give her a head start. It's ready or not. Here we come. And um, the families have to use weapons that were relevant when their families joined the
when they made their
table.
deal, yeah.
Yeah, and so some of these people have like really old weapons, and some of them have rocket launchers. And yes, there is a rocket launcher.
Do you
Uh,
do you know about Sarah Michelle Gellar with this stuff?
I did. I
Is
saw
that where you're
like
going?
they wanted to give Sarah Michelle Gellar like
A
what?
crossbow to start.
Yeah, they wanted to give her a weapon that she didn't use in Buffy. The problem was she pretty much used any weapon you could ever imagine in Buffy, and they started with a crossbow. She's like, "I'll use this," and then they like, "Well, rocket launcher." They brought up a rocket launcher. She's like, "Well, now that you mention it." Used rocket launcher in Buffy. Yeah, so like yeah, they kept going through all this and they couldn't ever find a weapon that she had never used in Buffy.
Yeah, no, that was I was very impressed by that, and it gives more badassery to Sarah Michelle Gellar, and she's of course linked in Star Wars forever too to me, so she's rad, and that was a cool little fact I thought.
And so yeah, so you've got a fresher watch on this than me. So
So hold on, pause. So I do want to talk about something in this scene here. So you can see it if you look above my head in this still shot that JP provided. You see that Samara Weaving, despite going to the hospital, is still in that fucking wedding dress. So what this part really, I don't know why it bothered me, but when they were in the hospital, there was scrubs around. She could have find other outfits, but she didn't wanna wear the apron thing that they have there, which is fair. She's like, "I can't do anything with this. I have clothes on." So she puts that fucking dress back on. And I was like, "All right, that was not needed. Scrubs are somewhere nearby. It's a hospital." Like, so that one was a little much, but I get it. Now we've got a blood-soaked dress and we have a story. So, it is what it is.
It was a way to get her back in that dress.
I do like that they removed the other sleeve eventually here, so that way it's, like, balanced out, but yeah.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, they get sent out and they're being hunted. Everybody's coming out after them. And what is the first kill? Is it the rocket launcher?
No, 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 the first kill was, it was Virage. It was the dude in the boiler in the he got tumbled to death in the fucking washing machine.
Yeah. But before that, they get to this like tent and they do fire a rocket launcher at her, and he almost dies there. And she and Samara Weaving's Grace character gets a bunch of shrapnel in her arm, and she's leaving a trail of blood that they're following and chasing her from.
I don't think there was a rocket launcher at that point. I think the rocket launcher came in when that daughter of the
You
one
know
guy.
what? You know what it was? You're right. The one guy had
No,
a
it was the canister.
sniper. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was. He had a sniper rifle. He
the
hit the
propane
canister.
thing.
Yep, yeah. I knew there was a big explosion and
Yeah,
shrapnel that gotten. I said you had a more recent watch. It's been, and I
yeah.
didn't. Whenever I watched this, I didn't take notes because I didn't know we were reviewing it. Um, so I'm doing a lot of this off memory. So she gets shrapnel all in her arm, and um, it goes back to another really cool scene with her sister pulling the shrapnel out, and they're just being sibling bitches to each other, but catching up at the same time, and while she's patching her up.
And Faith is like kind of low key enjoying pulling this stuff out of her sister
Yeah.
because she knows it hurts like a motherfucker.
So, yeah, that first kill, but like the boiler scene. Oh my god, that was fun. I love that. They
That
go
was
down.
cool, dude.
They go down. They find a grinder. They get the handcuffs off, and end up fighting this guy and knocking him into like this washing machine. And Samara Weaving, they close it, and it's like this big industrial like washing machine, and she flips it over to sanitize, and it's like bulling this guy alive in there, and she stops it, and she's like, "Well, he might have a phone," and then she opens it. He comes out. He's like melted and gnarly looking, and she's trying to dig and get his phone, and she's like, looking at her sister Faith, like, "You want to help?" She's like, "No, you've got it."
All I can tell you is when the guy comes out of this industrial washer, he looks like Jeff Goldblum in The Fly. He looks like when the skin's melting off of him, like it was so bad. It was great. It was
Yeah,
a good horror film moment for sure. Um, but I had never seen. I mean, I know they have them, but I haven't seen industrial washer that size. So that it was literally the size of a like probably a one and a half stories of a house. Like it was a big machine.
yeah,
So it was interesting. It was cool. And I really had high hopes because the Virage guy, looks wise, he was excuse me, by far one of the more interesting looks. He had this whole golden mask thing with
yeah. It was
this.
like I would say it was like a bronze mask, and yeah,
Made you really think of like Greek and Roman era type stuff, and he was going for the kill. So he tried, but Samara definitely bested him.
yeah, yeah. It was such a fun scene, and you find out shortly after this too. I believe it's shortly after this, or maybe it was right before it, that the Asian um, mother um, is like trying to talk Samara into marrying her young son. That is a way to get out of this and
This
everybody
is
survive.
this is where those loopholes and clauses come into play. We start hearing little bits. And what's funny about this scene is I actually, right after the death for Virage, I had to run to the bathroom. So I left the theater and I missed like a little 5 minute window and got right back into when she's explaining that to her. And she's like, "This is your only out. This way you don't die. Your sister lives. Marry my son. It's the only way you can do this. It's your clause. It's your way to get out of this." And mind you, there's other rules that we haven't really gotten into. The rules that transpire throughout this film are very matter of fact. They're very Scream esque in the sense that you have to follow certain rules with Mr. Belial. And she gets done telling Samara this, or I gotta start saying their names, Grace. She gets done telling Grace and Faith about this clause and way out, and all of a sudden, some Grace just looks at her and goes, "No, I'm not gonna be bound to you guys. I'm not doing this anymore. I can't kill innocent people. It's not happening." And the dude, what dude is it? Frick, Ignacio. He had the sniper gun, but he comes running up and he wants to handle this. He wants to be done with this. He wants to take that seat. So the Asian chick stands in front of him and she's because they're not allowed to kill each other. That's the big rule. If they kill each other in their attempts to kill her, then they instantly blow up. They're dead.
Yeah.
And in that moment, the next cool kill, and probably, well, there's a couple more cool kill scenes, but in that moment, though, she turns around to Grace and she goes, "Tell me yes now, or you're dead." And she's holding a sword up in the air, like she's gonna make the decision. Something transpires. Ignacio starts running towards her, and Samara Grace turns around and she grabs the sword in the Asian chick's hand. Turn around, the sword is through his face, and it was so good. And
Yeah.
right there, he's dead. So you don't have to worry about him anymore. And now Asian chick standing there. What do you think happens?
Yep.
She pops, but it gets better. Want to say what happens next?
Her entire family
Her
pops.
bloodline,
Her
which,
bloodline pops.
which was her son, who oddly reminded me of Home Slice from North Korea. Uh, so, but yeah, he's just looking at there. He's in a room with all these other people who are safe or not part of it, and he's playing this stupid game system, and he's just like, "What?" And poof, he just blows up. And the one dude's holding his
I look.
drink, and he's like, "Can you get me a poncho?"
Yeah, I love the one guy went and hid behind one of um the servers. He went and hid behind her because he was like, "Oh," and then he like explodes and he comes back out like, "Yeah, I need a new
Eh,
drink."
So I never saw the recent remake of Matilda. Was that woman the teacher from Matilda, the newer one?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Never seen Matilda.
Well, the first Matilda's spectacular. Danny DeVito's amazing, and I had to
I've
watch it
heard.
with my
Yeah.
kids. Yeah, but I never watched the remake because it's more of like a musical. But the woman who was like the big gnarly gym teacher type person, I
Hmm.
swear that's her, but I don't know. If any of you
Could be.
watching know, sound off the comments.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I never watched either. So yeah, I didn't did not do not have an answer there. Was not a Matilda fan, which I don't know. I might be. I never watched it, so
I mean, if you're a Danny DeVito fan, you would probably like it.
I've heard that original is good. So maybe one day. Um. So at this point, the girls are getting out. They are at the gate. They get to the gate and they are on their way out. And the brother sister combo of Titus and I'm gonna get her name.
Sarah,
Ursula. Ursula is Sarah Michelle Gellar's name. Ursula and Titus catch them at the gate, and um, I am drawing a blank on what happens here now, though.
there's I don't know. I saw it last night and I'm drawing a blank. So I don't remember how we get to the next part if I'm being honest. Frick.
Yeah, because I know there's
Yeah.
like a little skirmish there. They get away, but is this where they actually get her sister and take her back?
Oh, no, no, no. I know I remember what happens now. The one woman who was the girlfriend of Viraj, or wife, whatever she is, I don't know, but oh no, she entered the playing field because she took the truck and ran it through the gates and just
Yeah,
crushed through the gates to get out.
yeah, yeah. Because he actually signed her as head of the household, and
Yep.
so instead of fighting, she jumped in her car and left.
Yep. Which I don't know how that works out either, because if she just abandoned the quest, then did she pop too at
So
dawn?
from what I read was that they wanted to do a credit or a scene, but they didn't get to do it. That they wanted to do a scene with the girls walking past her car with her exploded in it.
I think they should have just showed like gone to the end credits and then had her pop while she's
And
driving laughing.
I think that was one of the thoughts too. But yes, they did say that in a press release that she did pop at dawn. She popped with
But
everybody
yeah,
else.
at this juncture, I think that they had captured Faith and were using her as leverage for
Mm-hmm.
Grace. And so the main guy Titus, he said, "Hey, I've got your sister. You come to the lobby, or she's
Mm-hmm.
gonna die." Essentially, the main lobby.
Yeah.
Well, Grace happens to see in a guardhouse. She happens to see a firearms box, so she smashes the window, goes into this box, and she pulls out a 12 gauge shotgun.
And I love this. I love
So,
this.
yeah.
She storms up there and just starts putting holes in every fucking
Well,
body.
before we get to that though, two things that happen here too. She can see so Titus was gonna manipulate her and he wasn't gonna have her at the lobby. He was just having her go there. So he moved the sister somewhere else. And when she's in the guardhouse, she sees the security screens and sees that she's being moved somewhere else. So she looks at the map, she's like, "Oh, that's where they're going." But now rewind. When Ignacio dies, his daughter we haven't explored that story. That's a deeper story. I didn't know all this. So Ignacio's daughter was engaged before Grace to the guy she married into
Mm-hmm.
the family. And he broke up with the daughter to marry Grace. So when Grace first sees her in there earlier in the room, she goes, "You ruined my life. That was supposed to be my husband, blah, blah, blah," and like doing all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she has it in for her. Now, when we get to this part, though, we've already gone past. She's killed Ignacio, which was her father. Grace has, and so this chick thinks she's a badass, this daughter, and so she tries to go at Samara. They have a round of whatever, but they both walk away. And this is where your rocket launcher comes into play. She comes out and she fires the rocket launcher, but it fires backwards into the back of the house
Yeah,
or into
that's
the
right.
building.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so that caused the whole little sequence, and they both get away from that though. Now, fast forward to she's just gotten the shotgun and she's going to the place where she saw them taking her sister. And as she's walking up, Ignacio's daughter comes right out of the house. She's like, "All right, bitch, what's up?" And Samara doesn't say a word to her. She just shoots her. She just fucking hits her with a shotgun right in the fucking chest. And I was like, wow. Like it was just a cool moment. It was just a really cool moment.
And they had a fight scene too.
They did. That was the rocket launcher, but we already
Yeah,
had gone
yeah,
past that, so I didn't
yeah,
really get into
yeah.
it too
We'll
much.
touch on that for a minute because that fight scene was really good, and I couldn't remember where it was in the timeline. 'Cause like I said, I wasn't sure we were reviewing this. So I didn't write the notes down like I normally would have.
I want I
But
want to say
like
it was right before the gates.
I think you're right. I think you're right. So like they get into a like in a like um almost like a reception hall. I think is what it's in, and they get into this knockout fight, but they're blind. They end up blinding each other.
Oh, pepper spray.
Yeah, with pepper spray, and they're like blindly fighting and like fishing around in this fight scene, and it is a fucking bonkers fight scene. Like it,
They look like they look like the idiots who stand alone in the middle of the pit and just punch circles in the air at the space around them. That's how they looked when they had the pepper spray in their eyes. So it was kind of funny. It was comedic.
but yeah, Grace going in with the shotgun and just fucking blasting every fucking body is amazing, and just she's just like fuck you, hell no, I'm coming to get my sister, and she gets in there and um at this point is when she I believe it's at this point when she literally stops because she gets caught. They all get caught, and she's like, "I'll marry you."
Oh no, no. So it's so there's a locked room, a locked space, and it's her last resort. She doesn't know her sister's right there, and she locks herself behind this door. It's like 3-inch thick bulletproof glass.
Yeah.
So she locks herself in this room, and the Titus is holding her sister's face against that window and says, "If you don't come out, she's dead."
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "I'll come out, but only if you marry me,"
Yeah.
because she knows that's the clause, and he accepts. So before she even goes out, though, she makes him swear. She goes, say swear just, and he goes, I swear, and she's like, no, 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 swear to him, swear to Mr. Belial. And so she makes him actually swear to Belial that he's going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite interesting. So she comes out, and now they're gonna have a wedding, and this is where shit gets real fucking weird.
Yeah.
Do you remember, or do you want me to dig in a little further?
Oh yeah. You talking about the
The in this moment Temple of Doom shit.
well, I think before we get there, I think where you're talking about I'm thinking about the bedroom scene where Titus comes in and confronts his sister.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, that's we do have to get there, I guess.
So,
So
so, so
go ahead.
yeah, Titus comes in and he's gearing up to marry Grace, and basically Ursula, Sarah Michelle Gellar's character, is talking to Grace and telling her like, "Look, my brother's out of control. We need to control him. You know, you're joining the family. You need to control him." He comes in. He knows all this. He's hearing all this. He kills his sister.
Well, there's more to that too. The aspect of Sarah Michelle Gellar, or what you call her, Ursula. So
Ursula.
Ursula builds up through the movie. So when before they smother Dad, uh, she is the one who says, "I promise, I will make sure that ring stays in our family." She is the
Mm-hmm.
one who did it, and for all intents and purposes, for the first probably 2/3 of this movie, you think she's in charge. And all of a sudden Titus is done being bitched around and told what to do, and all these things are starting to pile up in him, and all this darkness is starting to overflow. It's starting to come out of him, and she's recognizing it. She's recognizing she's lost control. So her last ditch effort is, she knows that this girl's going to marry him and that he's out of control, and so she pleads with her better half and goes, we can control this world and use this power for good, is the way she tries to approach it. I don't think she meant that, but she said it that way. And he comes in the room and overhears all of this, but she doesn't know it. And that's when he ends her. And as
Mm-hmm.
he's killing her, he goes, it doesn't count if it's a family member, 'cause he's choking her. And he says, it
Yeah,
doesn't count if it's a
yeah,
family member.
and that's what I was getting at was like that it. He actually comes out and says that you know you can kill a family member, you just can't kill one of the others. That's the breach in the contract. So there's another loophole, and like you said, these rules and loopholes keep popping up all through this film. And then we get to the Temple of Doom scene.
In this moment, Temple of Doom, I have to say that because this bitch, her wedding dress, all black. She's got a like stainless steel crown of thorns thing going on with black veil over it. We're talking full out Maria Brinks. And then then you've got this Temple of Doom because of the chanting and the way there's this like satanic pit. So I this is where
There's even a goat.
there's a goat, and this goat fucking cracks me up. I actually have the goat written in my notes to talk about. But I do want to talk about this. So this is where this movie, I talked about this earlier in this review, and it was about how this movie made me uncomfortable. I'm not a religious person in any way, shape, or form. I mean I am, but personal beliefs, right? So I whatever I choose to pray is my time, my thing, whatever. But I don't follow organized religion in any way, shape, or form. I still believe in good and evil and right and wrong and bad and good. And I just feel like this movie in these parts, and granted, it was supposed to be this way, but the first movie wasn't as intense, I felt, as how they went this path.
Mm-hmm.
It was too much Satan, Satan, Satan. All hail Satan, all this, all that, all this, all the symbolism of Satan. It's just, I've always been a firm believer in not so much ghosts but displaced energies, and I do think that you can empower things by invoking them and talking about them, and I felt like this movie kind of really went a little too far in that regard, to the point of discomfort, like Rosemary's Baby on discomfort.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really care for that aspect, and especially because fucking what's his name, Elijah Wood is the lawyer for Belial. Is his eyes are so intense and he's so committed to this role, it was uncomfortable. So I don't know, I just couldn't, this wasn't a great vibe for me at the end. And I didn't know how to feel about it. I still like the story and the way it unfolds, but yeah.
So yeah, they get into this temple and they get married. She follows through. She marries Titus, and um, he gets the ring. You know, to be the new head of the table. Then Samara kills him because of that loophole.
Because of the loophole. And not only does she kill him, and she drops him into a pit, first of all, which is like the sacrificial pit meant for the goat. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't meant for him, but he becomes a sacrifice and he falls in there. And then, because now they're married and she's now in charge, she takes that ring as he's falling down and she puts it onto her finger.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I'm in charge, bitches. That's basically what she does.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool the way that she did that. I'm not gonna lie, and it's to the point where I don't know if you caught this when you watched this the first time, but the first person to recognize her authority and bow to her wasn't
Was
a
the
person; it was
goat.
the fucking goat.
It was the fucking goat.
It was so good. I was like, "Damn!" And then after the little kid that um what's his name, Ignacio's son, is now the last one in their family left. He's got these twin little nines, but that was another part. But he sees the goat and then he bows and then everyone else bows and all of a sudden everyone is following and worshiping Samara. One of the dudes, the guy who is like, can I get a poncho? He looks at Elijah Wood's character and he's like, what are we gonna do? What this isn't covered. What is this? And Elijah's like, there's no bylaws for this. I this is uncharted territory. I don't know.
Yeah, and then she basically comes on and she's like, "Look, I'm not going to do this," and she relinquishes it to get out of the contract,
Yep.
and she throws the ring into the pit.
And what happens next?
Everybody does a free for all into the pit to get this ring, and they are jumping in, they are killing, slashing, fighting each other.
Because not just because they want the ring for the seat of power, but because really all of them are fucked at this point. Because if no one's wearing that ring by dawn,
They
then
all die.
she wins. They all die, and they know it. So they're like, "We got nothing else to lose." Now, mind you, that pit is not just a regular pit. There's spikes in there and everything else where they fall down. Like that,
Mm-hmm.
the Titus dude fell right onto one. And so these guys are just jumping in, kamikazing. They don't even care. But then the ones who survive, they're piling on each other, fighting each other, stabbing each other. Samara, or Grace, I keep doing that. Grace walks by and she sees the sword from Virage on the ground and she kicks it into the pit and she goes, oops. And so they all have the sword now to kill each other.
And they just, her and her sister casually walk away. And then all of a sudden, dawn hits, and all of a sudden, you start seeing blood explode just out of the pit. Just.
I mean, they literally it like just pops, and it's
Yeah.
so funny, dude. Because there's this one guy who's a character. It's Farage's brother, who's the one who's no longer the head of the house. He's been disavowed, or he so he thinks. He's like, I'm cool, I quit, so I'm good. I'm coming with you guys. We're going. And these girls think they haven't been splattered by blood because the way
Mm-hmm.
the pit went down. This dude pops right in front of them, and she's like, "Dad, damn it!" So it was kind of
She's
fun.
like, again,
Yeah,
again.
like there's no real. I can't get away from this blood.
And that's basically the end of the movie. The girls walk off, they leave, and go on their merry way. The end. Um, it's pretty abrupt. I mean, obviously, Elijah Woods, the lawyer, he makes his getaway. He leaves because he's just a lawyer, so he survives. Um, so yeah. Anything else?
No, I mean that pretty much sums it up. Sisters kind of skip away and they're whole and they're right. Actually, sorry, Mr. Belial appears again, does the nod again,
Yeah.
and so and that before Elijah goes away, he goes, "You're free." He said, "Did you say that?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He just goes, "You're free," and he kind of pulls backwards into like this, kind of like do you remember the little demon guy who conducted the ceremony in Beetlejuice. She comes out of the wall. That's how Elijah kind of
Yeah.
disappears back into the wall. So he does that, and the girls walk out, and that's it. I don't know how they're going to explain this one. I don't know how the powers that be in the world keep going on. I don't know anything next, but it left a lot of questions. But overall, for me, I enjoyed this movie. I love the movie. I love the kills. I like the way the story is carried on. But overall, a little too Satan-y for me, a little too Temple of Doom and in this moment for me.
Yeah.
But
I don't even think we need to talk about box office because this is still running in the theater as we're filming, and by the time we release it, there's probably some good numbers out on it. But um, so box office is probably kind of off limits unless we just want to do opening weekends.
sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. I'm listening. You there?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
I
Go
was
ahead.
letting you. I was letting you finish up.
Oh, no, 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 I'm good. My computer's gonna die, and I didn't realize it, so I told my son to go get my charger, and he's not finding it, of course. So
Ah, I was gonna say there's probably not much point in doing box office because this is still in the theater
yeah, we're
right now.
we're still gathering info on that. So yeah,
Yeah, so like by the time this comes out, there'll be good numbers out on it. But did you look at budget?
I did not.
I did.
What you got?
Would you like to take a guess?
65 mil.
You're way high.
Higher? Really?
Yeah, you're way high because it was 20 million.
I'm impressed by that. That gives me a
Yeah,
little more love for this movie because this was beautifully shot, and the imagery that I'm talking about for the for like the dress and for the Temple of Doom look, all that stuff is quite significant and done well. So the fact that they only had that little of a budget and still made it work, kudos.
yeah. No, for 20 million, I mean 20 million is a lot of money, but
Oh, of course.
for 20 million, I mean this movie looks beautiful. They did it, especially the practical effects and the way it's shot, the locations, everything. I mean, it's exquisite.
Especially with that 325 gallons of blood.
Yeah, I
No,
mean that.
but in all honesty though, like you have to think about it like this. Like most of these big budget blockbusters are doing 200 mil plus and they're putting out garbage. And then you get a film like this, that's why I went so high. You get a film like this, you think it's a little higher and then they did more with less. Come on.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. For $20 million, I would watch this over most of the $200 million movies that's been coming out in recent years, for sure.
amen.
Uh, Reviews. Do you want to start? You want me to start?
Wait, do you have any recommendations, JP?
We usually do those after we review the movie.
Oh, did we? I don't know. I'm backwards today.
You are backwards.
All right. Fine. Whatever. You killed off Danforth. Anyways, I don't know how I feel about this movie. I want to love this movie so hard because it is really a fun movie overall. It is good in that regard. But I do have my issues with the overly satanistic approach and I know it was a vibe. I know it's the thing in the movie, but the that was a little much in this one, more excessive than I felt in the first one. Um there was little things that kind of were annoying, like the dress, just stupid shit along the way that I could nitpick about. But as a whole, this movie did not disappoint. So I really enjoyed the chemistry between the sisters here. Faith and Grace were great. Samara and what's her name? Catherine Newton were spectacular together. The supporting cast also equally spectacular, though they felt a little more forced than the sisters. So as a whole, though, here with story included, I'm gonna go with 3.8 nerds from this guy.
Okay. And that's a little bit of a drop off from your rating for Ready or Not because I did pull those up. I don't know if you looked at those.
I did not.
You
What was my
rated
rating?
your rating for a Ready or Not was a 4.
Okay,
So that
that that
tracks.
that
That
tracks.
tracks.
Because
So
Ready or Not, the first one, opinion is far superior to this.
yeah. So I feel a lot. I feel a lot of the same way with that as Ryan does with this film. I think this film is beautifully shot. I think the locations are gorgeous. I think the sister rivalry and bickering is great between Samara Weaving and Catherine Newton. Um, I love Elijah Wood. I mean, I know Ryan said he was a little freaked out by Elijah in this film, but I loved Elijah Woods, the lawyer in this film. Like, I really like that character. Um, the kills were fun. The gore, the blood was all fun. I love the scene with Samara Weaving getting the shotgun and just being "fuck you." You know, there's a lot of fun scenes. The fight scene we talked about with the mace and the girls being blind. It was a fun fight scene. There's so much bonkers fun in this film that I really, really love. Um, However, this is my issue with this. Even though it's one thing I love about it, but it's the same at the same time I hate about it. I love how well Samara Weaving and Catherine Newton play with each, as sisters
With
in
each
this.
other.
With it, I know I'm correcting, as sisters in this film, how they play off of each other, and I think they do a fantastic job. But what set this movie apart from the original was where Samara was on her own. And to me, that made it for a more exciting, suspenseful film. To where with this, it just felt really forced,
Yeah.
and it just it was too much. It was, to me, that was what really set it back. Even as much as they how well they co-starred with each other in this film, and how well they did their characters in this film with each other. Like, it also took away from the film, I felt, with having a sister character in this film versus had it just been Samara Weaving trying to survive again. Um, and that was my big letdown with this, honestly. And I like the Temple of Doom stuff. I like that scene. I get the satanic stuff, with you, and I feel a little bit the same as you, but I kind of I still prefer, like, again, like you, in the first Ready or Not, where it was a little more ambiguous and, and kind of just like, yeah, they did that stuff, but it was like, are these guys just batshit crazy, until you find out at the very end that they wasn't. Um, to where now it's just in your face. Yeah, and so I kind of I agree with you to a certain degree with that as well. So some of this stuff just kind of took away from the amazing experience I had with the first one, and just kind of made it a little more just mediocre in this one. Um, I still love this movie. I will say it's one of the more fun films I've seen this year. I will still give it that. Um, I hate to say it, I hate to admit it, but because I did not think that I would feel this way about this film, but comparing it to Scream 7, I actually think I prefer Scream 7 over Ready or Not 2. I think I had
Interesting.
I think I actually had more fun watching Scream 7 with all um the callbacks and throwbacks and homages that they did in that film versus what they did with Ready or Not 2. Um which is, again, saying something, because the guys who did Ready or Not 2 did the previous two Scream films. So um that's why I'm also giving that comparison. Long winded. So my original rating for the first Ready or Not was a 4.4. So my rating for Ready or Not 2 is I'm going all the way down to a 3.9
Okay. So we're
for
about the same.
we're about the same. We're about the same, but that's a big jump. That's a way bigger jump down for me than it was for you from the original Ready or Not. Like, I was a little put back, but I still enjoyed this film. I will have this film. I will buy this film. Um, it will be watched again. I will watch this film multiple times in the future, but it just did not live up to what I fell in love with that first Ready or Not film.
Yeah, and there's a specific if you remember that in the episode we did on Ready or Not, there's a specific moment that I loved and used as a reference point, and it was when she was squeezing through the gate, and there was this detailed moment of her way she was being cut by the gate. I feel like we missed some attention to detail in little things like that. Like, I think those things sometimes can make or break and carry a film, and they're just that it gave character, if that makes sense, and I don't feel like there was a lot of character here. It was more about the story being what they needed for the sequel.
Yeah,
So
and that's what I was getting at. You had so many great intense scenes like that in that first one. Toward this one, where you have the sister in there, it was like they couldn't do that stuff,
yeah,
and it really took away from the movie. No matter how great those two characters were together on screen, it took away from the film. Recommendations. Now we're at our recommendation section, Ryan.
that's what I was hoping for. All right, so for this one, excuse me, I'm going to recommend a movie that I don't think most people I don't think JP might not like it at all, but I really I enjoyed this more than I thought I would, specifically the ending. The new movie Whistle that just came out digital. It is about an Aztec death whistle. It's got our girl Daphne Keene in it from Wolverine and from Star Wars and multiple other things. So she does a great job. She's the main character in this, and it is what it is. It's literally a death whistle, but this particular whistle, it basically fast forwards you to your death. So death is waiting using this whistle, and the way the events unfold throughout the movie are not what I thought they were going to be, and the way that the movie ends is even more not what I thought it was going to be. So I appreciate it and I liked it.
I've heard of that, but I haven't watched it. It seemed interesting. So, all right. So I'm gonna go with just because I recently watched this because it was the only Leprechaun movie I had never seen. Finally watched Leprechaun Returns, and I didn't know much about this film. I just knew that I had never watched it because Warwick was not in it, and was why I didn't watch it. And I think I caught it on sale on Fandango for like $5, and so I was like, St. Patrick's Day back was St. Patrick's Day, so I bought it and finally sat down and watched it, and it's a direct sequel of the original Leprechaun. So it's actually it's a completely direct sequel from the original one. Takes place, like 30 years later, and it's back to a more of a horror genre versus the comedy horror. And man, I will be honest with you, it's actually fun. I for a direct sequel 30 years later and a different leprechaun playing, leprechaun, a different guy playing leprechaun. Not a leprechaun playing leprechaun. Uh, it's actually fun. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's great and that it's the best in the series or this and that, but if you like the Leprechaun films and you want to see one that's actually kind of fun and surprisingly fun, and it's a direct sequel to the original, Leprechaun Returns, and I had a good time watching it.
So recently, and I did not tell you this, JP, but recently I did add the Leprechaun 8 film collection to my library. I will watch it at some point, but I have not seen all these movies by any means. But it was on sale, like you said, it was decent price, so I had to. Um, what else? I got a couple other things too. I think. Oh, I got Black Lightning. I bought the whole series of that for like $9, and I was like, "Let's go," because I do think that out of DC shows that was one of the better ones done. So I was a fan of that. I got Leon the Professional and Attack the Block too. Those are my most recent ones.
I've had Attack the Block for a long time, but I did pick up Daffy Duck's Quack Busters, and I did pick up the Daffy Duck's movie, Fantasy Island movie.
Oh my God. Well, Godspeed.
Alrighty. Until next week, guys. You got anything else, Ryan?
No, I don't. CineNerds out, motherfuckers.
Later.
are